Hey guys, it's me, Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. How are you doing today? Today we're going to talk about our favorite subject, which is sales. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right on into it. What is our subject for today? Our subject for today is selling and job training from home. Like using Zoom, for instance. The title is Selling and Job Training using different platforms from home. I've been in sales a long time, and a lot of times before the pandemic came out, most people would go into a meeting setting maybe once a week, and listen and talk to management and so forth, and they would have their meetings. They would talk about product knowledge. They would talk about the process of sales. Sometimes they would talk about getting referrals. They would talk about how to have a conversation, do some talk about getting like different types of training. They would just talk about all the aspects of being a salesperson and learning the basics and the fundamentals. Well, after COVID happened, a lot of things happened that, changed everything. So I've noticed that the training that I've been getting, because I work with different companies now, and you have to have knowledge about your products. But instead of spending a lot of money having people and time too, go directly to the offices, sometimes out of state. I've taken some training that I should have gone to Chicago for. I'm doing training with companies that are down in South Florida. I'm doing different training with different companies that normally they would send you to a facility, and everybody would sit and learn stuff. And it was really cool because it gave you the capability to kind of see who your competition was. It also gave you the capability to look eye to eye with management so they can actually see who you are. But when the virus came and everything, it kind of slowed things down and changed everything. But that's okay. We have to adapt, and in this regard, that's what we do as salespeople: is we adapt. Selling and job training from home. For myself, I'll tell you what, I was able to pick up new certifications because there's a lot of, people going to school online. My son, his senior year, he's got part-time at school and part-time at home. So he's having to use the new technology to be able to learn. And as a sales associate, we're always learning. And if you're not learning, if you're not growing, if you're growing, you're green. If you're ripe, you're rotting. So if you want to be a successful salesperson, you're going to have to suck it up. That means you're going to have to do things that aren't normal. A lot of people, they're really hard to change, and the adversity, it makes it hard for some people. But see, I've been in a program for a while where we've been using this technology called Zoom, and I was already doing it. It gives you the capability when you're training at home to be able to have a platform, because there's different ones besides Zoom. But I'm just saying, for instance, Zoom, where you can actually see all the people who are in your class. It makes it easy. You don't have to get all dressed and drive all over the place. It's better for insurance purposes because if people get in car accidents and stuff, whatever. There are positives and negatives to all of it. The positive part that I see is that you're able to get a cup of coffee when you want to. You don't have to put on airs and act like something that you're not in this regard. But it gives you the capability to do a lot of different types of training that would normally take longer. Like I've done a whole week's worth of training, and I'm getting ready to take a 45-hour. I'm almost done with my 45 hours of continuing education in my real estate stuff, which normally you'd have to go to the office, sit there, learn, and then come back and forth, back and forth. Now it's kind of neat, when you can do that. But when you have a good teacher, he can put you on mute. Sometimes I ask a lot of questions. I'm guilty of that. But what it does is it gives the teachers the opportunity to put out a lot of information. Now, they also have chat rooms and stuff. So if you need to get a question answered, that's really cool too. Like I said, this month, I've taken 2 online courses with 2 different companies I learned all the basics and the fundamentals of what they wanted me to know. And on top of that, I was able to take my 45 hour of continuing education. I was also able to take, believe it or not, I'm getting an officer's certification, so that, security officer's certification, so that way I can go work at concerts. Yeah, you're probably saying, why would he want to do that? Because I want to do that. Years and years ago, I used to work at the mayor's office, and I worked at some government buildings when I was going to college, and I let my certification go. But I really thought it's just kind of like easy money, to be quite honest with you. And it puts me in a different environment, so I can do multiple sales jobs, and I can also make money in other ways. So you got to think like that. But I was able to get this additional training, which they normally want you to do in person, but I got to do it on a Zoom platform. Remember, our title for today is Selling and Job Training. Now, here's the thing. If you're a salesperson, you've got all kinds of things to watch. Like you're watching something right now on YouTube. It's Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy, and I have another another YouTube channel under Gary Lee Stanley, and there's over 500 some videos on everything there is to know about selling and the conversations and the techniques and different types of licenses, certifications, and I'm gonna tell you what. I love the platform because it gives me the capability to share information to a wide variety of people. When people are comfortable, people are using their phones like computers now, and they're also using it on the go. And you have the capability now with your phone to actually talk with customers. I've seen it to where I've walked around neighborhoods and showed people what was in the neighborhood, what it looked like in the neighborhood, what houses looked like, what products looked like, what things looked like, and they didn't have to be physically right there in my presence, except for on the media of using your phone. There are different platforms that you can use, and it's pretty cool, and selling and job training from home using these different platforms like Zoom and Facebook and Google and all these different ones. It makes it easier if you would like to learn multiple things, get things done. Now, it can be kind of boring sometimes when you're sitting here hour after hour learning stuff, but it's like if you have to get an education and you can't get out and about, why not take advantage of the tools that you've been blessed with? The societies have changed, and a lot of selling now is done over the phone, business to business, using communications like Zoom and all these other type platforms to be able to sell products. It just makes sense because sometimes people don't feel comfortable, or maybe their schedules they're not available, but they are more available if they have an opportunity to say, yeah, I can do that. We can do it on a Zoom. Let's try it. Now, you think this isn't a big deal. Eventually, it's going to be a big deal in the way you sell. Because, see, people like to see each other, but sometimes instead of driving all the way across town or across the state or across the country, if a customer is open to buying what your product is, you may have the capability of right in your own seat training and teaching your customers what your products can offer as far as features and benefits. It's really cool. But for you as a new salesperson, it's really it's a little bit different. I like the hands-on myself. I like having people with me at a location, a seminar, or in a classroom setting, because it gives you, as a positive thing, this camaraderie. And if you are a person like me, I like to build people up. I like to give positive directions, and I like to offer positive information. And sometimes when people are on Zoom, I've seen it for myself. Some will get real sheepish. Some will be the ones who talk the whole entire time. And it's like you really can't get a feel for everybody who's that's working for you. Because some people are kind of quiet at first until they get their knowledge, and then they start talking. And some people feel a little bit in fear because those other salespeople have been around for a long time. And there are some people that are people who have the gift of being able to be very open, very vocal, and so forth. So there are positives and negatives to, job training from home using Zoom and these other platforms, but you have to weigh the difference. If you're a company and this is about the only way you're able to see people, I just did a class and training with a company that there was 30 of us. Now, each one of us was in different states and different areas. So I'm going to tell you what, that was kind of cool because we all had the same goal to sell a particular product. Now, there are some that I've been on where we had 50 to 100 salespeople that, you saw the little blocks of all the different people. But learning in smaller groups, it seems to be a little bit better because it gives the person who's the mentor, the teacher, the capability to ask, do you have any questions? And it's easier to be able to answer questions in a smaller setting. So if you're wanting to have meetings and so forth, I would recommend no more than 25 people, maybe less than that. If you're able to do it with blocks of 5 to 10 to 20 people, it would probably be better to do it that way. And the reason why is because, see, they'll turn off their little boxes. Now, here's one I'm going to tell you what. Let me teach you this real quick. I've noticed that there are some people that they don't even show their faces when they're in these meetings. Now, if you are a person who's putting on these meetings, you need to tell everybody, I want to see your face. And you want to be able to see their face the whole entire time because some people may go off and do something else. And are they really learning? I don't think so. I think sometimes, and you can excuse yourself. You can get up and go make a cup of coffee. But as long as you have that window available and that window open where people can see you, especially the trainers. And if you're a trainer and people are putting out those little blocks where you can't see their faces, you need to go ahead and do roll call on occasion and do it in a way that's like, and let them know, hey, I'm going to be doing roll calls. So if you're not going to be seen, I need to know that you're paying attention. And I've seen some people get in trouble because they weren't paying attention in class. Some got kicked out of the class and they lost that capability to get that license and certification. My name is Gary Lee Stanley. I am your sales guy. I've been learning about the craft of selling, and I've been in sales since the 80s in one form or capacity. Like I said, I've got over 500 videos or more on multiple channels, and I would love for you to give me a thumbs up, share this information, because I work for you. This is a platform for salespeople or for people who just want to learn something new. And I'm going to tell you what, the art of sales, it's a career. It's an opportunity where a lot of people who want to make money but don't want to physically have to do real physical work have the capability of making money by having conversations with people, features and benefits, telling them what it's all about. Now, I ain't saying it's easy. It's kind of hard sometimes. It can be real rough and it can be very tough to be a salesperson, but I love it. I love the good, the bad, the ugly, and the warts and all. That's what I always say. And my mom always told me, Gary, you can do anything you put your mind to, but you got to believe in yourself. You've got to work smart, work hard, and you got to work your ass off to be successful. That's at anything. And our subject for today is selling and job training from home using Zoom and these other platforms. It works. It really does. Now, did I say it was perfect? Nah. They got flaws in the system because, like I said, it's like you go over your materials, and if you really want to know if somebody's learned stuff, you have small little tests all through it. Now, if you got to take a big test, I highly recommend that if it's over a 5 or 6 day period and there's a way for you to do short tests each day instead of waiting till the very last day to have a big giant test to see if they understood something, give them the capability, if you have that in your platform, to give them each day a test based on the information that they learn. Now, make sure sure you go over the information because you don't want people to feel stupid. Because sometimes people don't learn the way other people learn. Some people have to learn by doing. Some people have to learn by listening. Some have to see. Some have to physically do the work. And in this regard, you'll always want to make sure that the people that are training are being trained successfully. And the way to find that out is to test them and call on them all through the presentation. I've had some where they didn't even call on the salespeople and ask them questions. How do you keep somebody interested? You ask them good questions. Well, hey guys, we just had a great conversation about selling and job training from home using your Zoom platforms and more. I hope this helped you because, see, listen, hey guys, new technology means that we need to learn in different ways. Sometimes we don't want to deal with change, but to be a true salesperson, you got to go with the flow. That way you know, baby. Okay, so go out there and sell something, and remember, use your job training from home to be successful. And look me up. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great day and go sell something. You're training from home using the Zoom platform and the other platforms. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pros and cons. All right.